Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gursharan Kaur, a teacher trainee in Institute Pendidikan Guru, Campus Pendidikan Teknik. Today, I will be presenting a topic for my contemporary social studies final continuous assessment: religious perspective on caring for the nature environment. Before I begin with my presentation, let's discuss about the big idea, which is known to be a huge motivation to complete the task. The big idea: lifelong learning shapes the passion of teachers in achieving the aspiration of quality education. The big idea can be connected profoundly to the religious perspective on caring for the nature environment, as teachers can educate students to care for nature based on the religious aspect of nature to their students, especially for the Islamic teachers during religious class in school or religious tuitions at home, as religion has no restriction of age in protecting our nature together as humans and make it as our ordained duty to spread awareness through teaching. Now let's go through the introduction of the presentation today. Our planet is a gift from God, a living, breathing creation. Our environment is known to be a complex and an interconnected web of life. From the tiniest microbe to the largest mammal, every living organism plays a crucial role in maintaining the balance of ecosystems. The survival of species, including humans, are ensured by this delicate balance. Thus, raising awareness about the environmental issues are crucial. Unfortunately, in this 21st century, nature is dying slowly as more natural disasters affect our environment. The pie chart below shows the types of disasters happening in Malaysia. The highest disaster is floods, affecting 34% of small and medium enterprise businesses. As you can see, the second image shows an incident of a natural disaster happening in Kuala Lumpur during the year 2021 recently. On December 19, 2001, a huge flood occurred in Hulu Langan outside Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. More than 50,000 people had to evacuate to shelter homes, and it was reported to have 7 total deaths. The picture depicts people cleaning up their shops, in which its damaged furniture following the flood water is piled outside their shop. In today's topic, we will be exploring on how religions such as Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, Christianity and Buddhism, and what are their perspectives regarding our nature environment. The picture above depicts various disasters that happened in Malaysia not too long ago. Though Malaysia resides outside the ring of fire geographically and not typically in the path of tropical cyclones, having a lower risk of facing its impacts directly and earthquakes, however, Malaysia still do have a risk as these events may occur occasionally. Malaysia is more often affected by floods, landslides, storms, and heat waves. Let's start learning on many different aspects on what each religion believes when it comes to the nature environment. Let's have a look at the first religion, Islam. Islam believes that humans have the ordained duty to take care of the environmental nature that has been given from Allah as a gift. In Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 30 discusses, Allah has chosen and created us Muslims, the humans, to preside over the earth. The Holy Quran mentions about the stewardship role for humans through the title they hold in being the Caliphs over all earth. Therefore, for the Muslims, it is their responsibility to fulfill the needs of the role that Allah has entrusted them, and this can be done through the safeguarding of the environment. They also follow the concept of considering nature as a blessing from the above. Remember when your Lord said to the angels, I am going to place a successive human authority on earth. This verse can be found in Surah An-Nahl, chapter 16, verse 65. In the Quran, water is known to be a huge life-providing theme. Allah talks about how He creates life, then are homes for many through water, then sustains it by streams, the rains, rivers, and oceans that are homes for many. To recognize the value of water, to remind us to provide clean water for all, Allah uses the analogy of life and death for Muslims to remind them of it. In the second religion, which is Sikhism, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji's second Mahal, Anga 146, Pavan Guru Pane Pita, Mata Tarat Mahata, Divasarad Dohi Dohi Daya, Kele Sagal Jagat. This verse and the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh's holy scripture, talks about the divine being symbolized through many aspects of nature, which is the air, water, trees, sun, and moon. In the holy scripture, the air is recognized as the Guru, the water recognized as father, and earth the mother of all. The days and the nights are the nurses, where all creation fondled in their lap. They also believe in the earth being the dharamsala, the place to do righteousness. Sikhs consider the earth as the right place to perform good deeds, which is recognized, which is the righteous actions, and duty, which is the purity. They believe that when humans finally realize that the divine resides in nature and its elements, they will stop exploiting the nature for their own greed materially and peace to be achieved. In a summary, Sikhism acknowledges the Panchatattva, the five elements air, water, fire, space, and earth. They are known as the foundation of the web of life. Sikhism believes from primal void, the divine creates these five elements. Everything in this world, including human beings, has been created through these five elements itself. Therefore, nature is an inseparable part of our existence as Sikhs. Following up with the third religion, Hinduism. Hindus believe that the earth is the incarnation of Brahman, which is of that belief arises environmental ethics in their religion. They honor the earth like a deity that must be utmost respected and balanced. They follow the concept of ahimsa, non-harm, which gives the important role in the environmental ethics. For them, humans should not do violence against living creatures and nature. Moon 2022 mentions that Hindus emphasizes the maintaining sustainable activities and nature harmony as their importance. The Hindu's Dharma, ecology, explains the mechanism for creating respect for nature and the consequences of not doing so. In the Rig Veda, Book 10, Hymn 81, verse 13, He is the one God producing heaven and earth, wields them together with his veins in wings, stated that God is everywhere and present, even in the form of nature. He resides in all living and non-living things. Bhagavad Gita chapter 13 verse 13 similarly says the same, that God resides everywhere. This was stated by Lord Krishna himself. Thus, this teaches Hindus to act or to think before they take an action, as it will reflect on their karma later on. Because of this specific belief in nature within the sanctity of life, majority Hindus are vegetarian. They believe that even trees, rivers, and mountains have souls within them all. Therefore, they should be honored and cared for. Their tradition teaches them that God even exists in small microscopic things like organisms and plants. This belief has originated from the concept of reincarnation. According to their traditions, the soul may reincarnate in any form. Fourth religion coming up is Christianity. In the Holy Bible, Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to till it and keep it. This verse tells us that God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden and gave him work, cultivate, and care for the garden, which shows as a symbol of stewardship over creation. Psalm 24, chapter 24, verse 1. Psalm chapter 24, verse 1. The earth is the Lord's and all that is in it, in the world, and those who live in it. This verse teaches that the divine ownership and stewardship. It reminds humans and Christians that God is the ultimate owner of the universe, including nature, while humans hold the responsibility of taking care of it. Thus, the Christians must treat nature with utmost respect and responsibility. Romans chapter 1 verse 20 states, ever since the creation of the world, His eternal power and divine nature, invisible though they are, have been understood and seen through the things He has made, so they are without excuse. This verse teaches that the natural world itself lies God's existence. Every mountain, star, river, and living creature reflects on the divine design and in order. Therefore, humanity has no choice and no excuse for denying God, since His presence is visible in the creation He made Himself. Finally, the religion Buddhism. As a bee without harming the blossom, its color, its fragrance, takes its nectar and flies away, so should the sage go through a village. Book Dampada, chapter 4, Blossoms, verse 49. This verse teaches and explains about ahimsa, non-violence, and living mindfully. Like how the bee sustains itself without harming nature, humans should also imply the same by living in harmony, by taking what they need but preserve the balance and the beauty without harming it in any way. Dampada chapter 10 verses 129 to 130. All tremble at violence, all fear death. Putting oneself in the place of another, one should not kill nor cause another to kill. This verse refers as a reminder that all beings are afraid to die. Therefore, it is important to show compassion, which means recognize all lives are equal and acknowledging its wish to live. Moreover, to add the wisdom in causing no harm to any living beings. Example given, humans, animals, and nature itself. Malaysia, a country rich in biodiversity and natural beauty, faced several environmental challenges and incidents through the years due to the rapid development happening and deforestation and all kinds of pollution until today in our beloved country. Let's go together all the previous incidents that happened in Malaysia which took people off their homes by property damages, robbed of their life through death and injuries, environmental damage, and economic losses. The first landslide that I'm going to present is the first incident that I'm going to present is a landslide incident that happened on December 2022. A landslide that had occurred affecting agriculture area and campsite at Father's Organic Farm in Batangkali, Hulu, Selangor. The entire campsite and farming area were almost about to be destroyed by the incident, resulting in 92 victims, including 31 fatalities, where 13 of them were children, and 61 survivors as the incidents of the incident. The operation by the Search and Rescue SAR began and was launched immediately and continued for 9 days after concluding the last victim that was found. The incident that shocked sorry The incident that shocked many happened in the year 2014 at the state of Kelantan, Malaysia. Experienced its worst monsoon flood in history during the month of December 2014, with Kelantan being the most affected state, followed by a few states that were also affected. Data collected by Department of Welfare, over 541,896 people were affected nationwide, while the government faced loss financially by the amount of 2.58 billion ringgit to public infrastructure alone. The flood was a great challenge that ever happened to the government due to high number of victims and scale of flooding, which caused damage to infrastructure and hindered rescue efforts and relief. In our third slide, the incidents showed of the flood incident that happened in peninsular and western sides of Malaysia. The floods occurred in December 2021 that lasted for 6 episodes of monsoon surges that became a wake-up call to prioritize prevention and mitigation rather than focusing solely on the disaster response. Malaysia at that time had to face 2 major monsoons flood struck, one from 17 to 20 December 2021 and another from 25 February, where both sides of the western and eastern peninsular Malaysia were affected. The event occurred on 17 December in the state of Selangor that was particularly devastating, where the scale of the disaster was unprecedented in an urban area, marking as the highest in mortality in Malaysian's history. A total of 58 causalities were recorded due to the flooding, affecting residential areas, public assets and infrastructure, vehicles, manufacturing businesses, premises, and agriculture. At least approximately 400,000 people were displaced, and overall financial losses were estimated at 6.1 billion ringgit, causing a huge loss. We will now move on to the factors contributing to the natural disasters. The first factor that I will talk on is wasted natural resources. Rather than being recycled, upcycled, composted, or used for something else, in 2017, according to EPA, 267.8 million tons of municipal solid waste went to landfills. That's a lot of wasted natural resources that which are originated from nature in a form to another. In a circular economy these days, natural resources will not be wasted. Another way they can do is to always upcycle, recycle, or use this waste to regenerate other materials that may be useful. But unfortunately, not everyone follows this way to do so and still continue to just dispose everything instead of upcycling, recycling, or regenerating the waste. The pie chart above shows that among the 267.8 million waste collected, paper and paperboard waste hold the highest amount than all nine wastes, which are amounted by 25%. Not only wasted natural resources, but even climate change leads to one of the factors that contributes to the natural disasters. Let's read the definition of climate change according to NASA. Climate change is a long-term change in the average weather patterns that have come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climates. NASA. Climate change occurs when greenhouse gases are released and trapped in the atmosphere, resulting in the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect creates a layer around the Earth's atmosphere that traps heat from the sun, making our Earth warmer. Climate change is also known to be one of the factors caused by human activities. For example, burning fossil fuels, which may lead to natural disasters such as hurricanes and droughts. Deforestation also brings a major impact in the natural disasters as well. Deforestation is known as a process of cutting down the trees, often on a vast scale. Malaysia had the highest rate of deforestation in the world between 2000 to 2012 according to Google, with the global forest map developed in partnership. With the total loss of forest which amounted to 14.4% of its 2000 forest cover. Deforestation may cause natural disasters such as increasing the risk of floods and landslide. It can even lead to soil erosion, which can reduce soil fertility and causing the risk of an incident or a landslide to actually happen. The factor behind deforestation is logging, where Malaysia is known to be one of the exporters of tropical woods. During 1980s, clear felling led to destruction of the forest habitat. Another factor causing deforestation is road building. Road building was made for infrastructure purposes and to provide access to energy projects, new settlements, and mining ideas. Finally, oil spills adds to the natural disasters issue happening until today due to much carelessness or without double checking for any leaks. Oil spill is an environmental problem that associates with oil having many layers. The oil is also a fossil fuel that contributes to climate change and kills wildlife and fishing industries. The oil spills occur takes lives and harms dolphins, sea turtles, fish, and a variety of organisms. Oil is a necessary source of energy in every developed and developing country today. But it comes with dire environmental problems which brings water pollution in the oceans and seas and cause the extinction of aquatic animals. An incident of oil spill occurred in Penang, Malaysia in the year 2016. The oil spill had caused a 5 km polluted coastline on the island from Swettenham Pier to Gurney Drive. Sahabat Alam Malaysia, SAM, on the oil spills that has been occurring in Penang waters in the recent months urged the authorities to take action and investigate on this issue. Oil spill may cause major harms towards ecosystems, marine life, and seabirds. It even brings a bad effect on the economy, making them to face economic losses, especially for the fishermen and for those who work in mariculture. Solutions in preventing natural disasters and environmental issues. Everyone plays a respective role in preventing natural disasters and environmental issues and maintaining as well as sustaining the nature. Therefore, let's start our topic with our duty as humans in doing the initiative. The government can practice good governance, for example, maintaining and managing water to prevent droughts and floods. Formulate policy, strategy, action plan. For example, the government may provide water conservation programs, review tariff to ensure economic and financial stability of water services. They can even provide fiscal incentive, for example, direct financial benefits like grants, subsidies, or allowance or reductions, exemptions, deferrals of various taxes such as income tax and property tax. The producer of the production can improve the process by applying the LCA life cycle assessment to take action to reduce the overall environmental impact. Utilize green technology, like using green technology, encouraging innovation, promote clearer production, and participate in corporate social responsibility, such as reducing the carbon footprint where people can where people can use renewable energy sources and support conservation by partnering with the NGOs to restore green spaces. Consumers, known as the public or the citizens, must change attitude and behavior towards sustainable consumption. For example, applying the 3R, reduce, reuse, and recycle, and opting for sustainable transportation like using the public transportation instead of personal use vehicles or car. Avoid malpractices. For example, disposing waste properly by throwing them into their designated bins. Participate and advocate in government programs. Example given, join in community service by volunteering in local initiatives such as community area cleanups and join the Go Green programs organized by NGOs. Social and economy have to provide equity and consumption, such as having access to clean water and healthcare regardless of their race, religion, and color. Improve the quality of life, well-being. Example given, increase the access to greener spaces such as developing and upgrading public parks and gardens to encourage outdoor activity and relaxation. Increase economic competitiveness like integrated policies. For example, implement effective environmental regulations such as waste management regulations. The next slide gives the second point on solutions in preventing natural disasters and environmental issues by educating yourself and those around you. It is important to always be aware of the natural disasters that is likely to face. It's important to be educated on the potential risk and hazards, which helps us in advance on how to best prepare for the disaster, what can we do when it's happening, and our actions and the aftermath. For example, we can help to educate people in many ways. Starting from our home, we can discuss with our family members and on different survival plans in case of an emergency that can be helpful. One may discuss the precautionary measures and prepare the emergency kits and supplies together in case of a disaster. In school, teachers or school administration may educate their students on preparation to face natural disasters, what disasters to look out for, and how to respond to the disasters appropriately. In workplaces, to enhance the safety and security of their workers, businesses can provide training and educating them on evacuation routes and providing ready medical kits and backup emergency plans. The next slide gives the third point on solutions in preventing natural disasters and environmental issues by reducing waste and recycling more. We can start our initiative by switching to reusable cups and bottles. Cans, cups, bottles requires lots of energy to be produced, bottled, shipped to the store for purchase, even if they can be recycled. Instead of that, use reusable cups and bottles that can save and will save money and eliminate waste. People can also avoid single-use plastic straws. People may use metallic straws instead of always buying and disposing them, which will create waste. Single-use straws and containers always end up in the landfills. It brings a huge impact despite its small, tiny size. People can also take the initiative by buying second-hand clothes. People can save items from ending up in landfills just by using and purchasing second-hand clothes and furniture. A huge impact is brought by fast fashion on the environment from its production and disposal, which actually causes the natural disaster to happen. With these steps taken, we can make Earth a better place and improve our daily life and nature's environment. Communication in a multicultural context. Language barriers and difference in non-verbal cues can be one of the potential issues to happen while I present. Mic video campaign. The solution can be done is finding a reliable translation service to translate in order to understand what the person is talking about. For example, hiring a translator or using a translator app and use clear non-verbal signs such as clear expressions and gestures while communicating. Finally we have arrived to the final parts of the presentation, which is the conclusion. And for my conclusion, I have decided to use this conclusion to critically judge and assess together with the big idea. Lifelong learning shapes the passion of teachers in achieving the aspiration of quality education. So what I can understand based on my presentation just now that was given, we as teachers still have the chance to learn and to understand so that we can pass this message to our students on how to love, care and appreciate Mother Nature to prevent various natural disasters from happening in order to make our earth as a safer place to reside for our upcoming generation. Teachers are equipped with tools of teaching the topics of sustainability and global ethics to educate students to find solutions critically, making their own ways and answers such as technological innovations and initiatives. That is all for my presentation today. Thank you so much for lending me your ears, and I would like to apologize in advance for the mistakes and for the stuttering or any error that happened throughout the whole presentation. I hope you liked my presentation, and this is where we end our presentation for today. Thank you very much everyone, and goodbye.